Today, I have subjectively selected 7 of the greatest women in the Bible. These women faced many difficulties and trials, but they remain exemplary figures through their faith in God and their courage. Deborah and Jael. Deborah, who appears in the book of Judges in the Old Testament, was an Israelite prophetess and judge who played a crucial role in resolving disputes among the people. According to the Bible, she sat under a palm tree in the hill country, and the Israelites came to her for fair judgments in their disputes. This passage highlights how fair and wise a mediator she was. Deborah's greatness extended beyond her role as a judge. She was also a prophetess who conveyed God's messages to the people and served as his messenger. In mediating and resolving disputes, she reflected God's wisdom and guidance in her decisions, contributing to peace and justice in the community. According to the book of Judges, under Deborah's leadership, Israel fought against the Canaanite army. Following God's command, she appointed Barak as the general and encouraged him. However, Barak, recognizing Deborah's greatness, insisted that she accompany him in the crucial battle. Though Deborah initially declined, asserting that they could win without her, Barak refused to go into battle without her. Reluctantly, Deborah agreed, but she prophesied that the victory's glory would go to a woman instead of Barak. Undeterred, Barak confidently led the troops into battle. With Deborah by his side, Barak's army defeated Sisera's forces with God's help. However, Sisera, the enemy commander, survived the battle and fled, seeking refuge in the tent of Heber and his wife Jael. Jael invited Sisera into her tent, hiding him and gaining his trust by giving him milk when he asked for water. When Sisera fell into a deep sleep, Jael seized the opportunity. She took a tent peg and hammer and drove the peg into his temple, killing him instantly. Consequently, Sisera's remaining forces surrendered to Barak's army, and Jael was hailed as a hero. Barak's contribution was overshadowed, and Deborah's prophecy was fulfilled perfectly. Under Deborah's leadership, Israel enjoyed 40 years of peace. She is remembered as one of the most respected female leaders in Israel's history. Esther. Esther, a Jewish woman in the Hebrew Bible, is the heroine of the book of Esther, known for saving the Israelites from a crisis within the Persian Empire. Her original name was Hadassah, but in Persia, she was known as Esther. Esther's story begins when Persian King Ahasuerus deposes Queen Vashti and commands a search for a new queen from the most beautiful young women throughout the empire. Esther's uncle, Mordecai, believes in her beauty and advises her to conceal her Jewish identity and participate in the selection process. Entering the competition, Esther carefully adapted to life in the court while hiding her identity. The selection process was a spectacle of beauty and wisdom, with each maiden vying to win the king's favor. Esther's humility and sincerity gained her a reputation among the court. Her unique charm captured the king's attention, and her pure and kind heart impressed him, leading to her selection as queen. As queen, Esther continued to hide her Jewish identity, but her deep love and sense of responsibility for her people remained. One day, the king's favored official, Haman, devised a plot to kill all Jews. Mordecai informed Esther of Haman's plan and urged her to plead with the king for their salvation. Initially hesitant due to the risk to her own life, Esther finally gathered the courage to approach the king and ask him to save the Jews. Esther held 2 banquets to expose Haman's plot. During the second banquet, she revealed Haman's evil intentions against her and her people. The king, enraged, ordered Haman's execution. Esther and Mordecai then secured the king's permission to issue a new decree, allowing the Jews to defend themselves against their enemies. This event rescued the Jews from great danger, and Esther and Mordecai rose to high positions within the Persian Empire. To commemorate this victory, the Jews established the festival of Purim, which is celebrated annually. Sarah, who appears in Genesis, was the wife of Abraham and the mother of Isaac. Her original name was Sarai, but God changed her name to Sarah when he promised Abraham and her that they would have many descendants. Sarah means princess. Sarah demonstrated her faith in God and obedience by following her husband Abraham on their journey to an unknown land, trusting in God's promise. At the age of 90, Sarah gave birth to her son Isaac. Isaac's birth was a miraculous fulfillment of God's promise, showing Sarah's faith and perseverance. God's promise to make Abraham and Sarah's descendants into a great nation was fulfilled through Isaac's birth. Isaac's name means laughter, which originates from Sarah's reaction when she first heard the incredible news that she would have a child. Sarah lived to the age of 127, and even after her death, she remained a significant figure as the mother of Isaac and the matriarch of the Jewish people alongside Abraham. Her legacy continues to have a profound impact today. Ruth. Ruth is the protagonist of the book of Ruth in the Bible and the daughter-in-law of Naomi, a Jewish woman living in Moab. The story begins when Naomi's family moves to Moab due to a famine. After Naomi's husband and 2 sons die, Naomi decides to return to Bethlehem. While her other daughter-in-law, Orpah, stays in Moab, Ruth decides to go with Naomi, making a famous declaration, "Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God." Ruth accompanies Naomi to Bethlehem and begins gleaning in the fields of Boaz, a relative of Naomi. Impressed by Ruth's kindness and loyalty to Naomi, Boaz protects and cares for her. Following Naomi's wise advice, Ruth asks Boaz to be her kinsman redeemer. Boaz agrees and takes the necessary steps according to the community's customs to marry Ruth. Their marriage brings new hope to Naomi's family, and Ruth gives birth to a son named Obed, who becomes the grandfather of King David. Despite being a foreigner, Ruth becomes part of God's people and plays a crucial role in the lineage of Jesus Christ. She is an important figure in Christian history. Rahab. Rahab appears in the book of Joshua in the Old Testament. She was a resident of Jericho and lived in a house built into the city wall. Rahab is famous for hiding the 2 Israelite spies sent by Joshua. Before the Israelites attacked Jericho, Rahab asked the spies to protect her and her family in exchange for her help in safely returning them to Israelite territory. Because her house was located on the city wall, Rahab hid the spies on her roof and misled the king's men who were searching for them. This act was incredibly risky and could have cost her family's lives if discovered. The spies promised to protect Rahab and her family if she tied a scarlet cord in her window as a signal to the Israelite army. This cord identified her house during the attack on Jericho, ensuring her safety. When the Israelites captured Jericho, Rahab and her family were spared and integrated into the Israelite community. She became the great-great-grandmother of King David and is listed in the genealogy of Jesus Christ, remaining one of the few non-Israelite women included in God's plan of salvation. Mary. Mary is one of the most important and revered figures in the New Testament, known as the mother of Jesus Christ. Living in Nazareth and engaged to Joseph, both descendants of King David, Mary's life changed dramatically when the angel Gabriel appeared to her, announcing the birth of Jesus. Gabriel told Mary, "You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Jesus," declaring that this child would be the Son of the Most High. Although initially troubled by the news, Mary accepted God's will with faith and obedience, responding, "I am the Lord's servant. May your word to me be fulfilled." From that moment, Mary began her journey as the mother of the Messiah, Jesus Christ. Mary's pregnancy could have caused significant social and cultural issues, but God reassured Joseph in a dream about Mary's purity and the divine nature of the conception. Joseph accepted this and took part in raising Jesus with Mary. Mary gave birth to Jesus in Bethlehem. His birth was announced by angels and a star, bringing shepherds and wise men to worship him. Mary treasured and pondered all these events in her heart. Throughout Jesus' childhood, Mary witnessed his growth and development, including the episode of losing him temporarily in the Jerusalem temple. During Jesus' ministry, Mary supported him and was present at key moments, including his crucifixion. At the cross, Jesus entrusted Mary to the care of his disciple John, emphasizing her faith and dedication. After Jesus' resurrection, Mary continued to be part of the early Christian community, praying with them, as mentioned in the Bible's last reference to her. Mary is deeply respected and loved in Christianity, though doctrines like the Immaculate Conception, virgin birth, and Assumption have been debated. Many Christians believe that these aspects should not be over-interpreted beyond the Bible. Nevertheless, Mary remains one of the most significant figures in the Bible, exemplifying obedience, faith, and humility. Her life played a crucial role in God's salvation plan, serving as a model for all Christians. If you have time, please check out our channel for more meaningful and interesting Bible stories. We will continue to strive to make the Bible more engaging for everyone and to make it accessible anytime, anywhere. We'll be back with more great Bible stories. Please subscribe and like our channel. Thank you.